The inspector never really mentioned to us that there was a major issue with gas getting into the house from the garage.
There's holes everywhere. I don't want that exhaust coming into my house. It's not good for you. It's all gonna come down. Ryan and Eunice live downtown in a condo, wanted to move out. Go to the suburbs. Get a house that's half decent, not too old, 5 years old in that neighborhood. They found a nice place, got a home inspector in. 2 thumbs up, house is great. They knew going in and buying the house that the deck was not finished. You know, but the things that I want to look at are the dangerous things. You go into a garage, if there's holes in the ceiling and the plaster's not finished and there's holes everywhere, think about the gases from your vehicle going into your house. Shouldn't an inspector take a look at that? Yes. Should he report on it? Yes. Is it in the report? No. We're gonna find out what's right, what's wrong, what we need to do to make it right.
Eunice and I got married just over a year ago, and we've been looking for quite some time for a home. When we previously lived in a condo, it was about 640 square feet, so when it was a little tight for the two of us.
We were looking to buy a home that had enough space and fit our lifestyle.
The moment you stepped in the house, we had lots of light in this house, and the flow through from front to back was really important for us. Separate dining room, so a place where we could entertain friends and family, leading into the back of the house where we had a large open kitchen leading into a family room.
We fell in love with it.
We didn't want to, go for a cheap home inspection, so we thought we'd go to the next level and hire in an engineer. During the inspection, we went through all areas of the house, and I had some concerns and asked him about certain areas of the home, which he didn't really seem to think were a major issue.
Eunice, I'm Mike.
I am Ryan.
Ryan, pleasure to meet you. Nice house, 5 years old, and we have problems.
We do.
I hate that.
Me too.
So you have all kinds of cracks. One around the receptacle, not noted in the report, around the receptacle, again here. And across the bottom, you see how they just tape it to the wall? Now, it's minimum code. You're allowed to do it, right? But it must be bonded. Now, what we really want to do is an acoustical caulking across the bottom so no air can drive up and behind that drywall when we get in the house. So think of your car running in here, okay? So all the gases, off gases coming from your muffler, just fill this area and then start getting inside the house. Have you ever noticed the smell in the house? Have you?
We haven't as of yet, no.
I'm surprised. There was some good workers in here, and there were some guys that don't care. Look at the drywall. These guys care? Look, pop nails, pop nails, pop nails, pop nails, all over the place. This is not a good thing because that means that invisible gas now gets into the house.
We were having family come to visit right around the time I was preparing the room and getting it ready for our guests. And it was wintertime, and I noticed it was extremely cold by my feet. There was a full draft coming right at the baseboard underneath the window.
That one area, looks like you got a pocket there, a hole. Anyways, as the cold comes in here in the winter, because it's not heated, it's gonna find its way in. They didn't have to drywall this, so you know.
The inspector mentioned that to us, and I actually called him back, and he said because it wasn't directly over a room, you're right, he said they didn't have to do it.
Now, this portion of the room is right where the room ended in the garage, but there was still some garage in front of it.
That wall is the inside wall of the house. There's your floor joist. That room, that little jut out over top of the garage, this hole is not only letting in the cold air, it's letting in exhaust fumes from your car right into the bedroom. This attic is now, like any other attic, is like outside. It breathes from the outside, it allows cold air coming in, and it should have been drywalled off so that cold air stays in a cold zone. Does not compete with the house.
The inspector told me that mortar was a form of our value.
He told the homeowners that when they parged over this brick, it would act as a good insulation. I think what he was trying to say, and I'm going to assume, is that it would help stop the draft from coming in. It has nothing to do with an R value. It has nothing to do with insulation, but anything you can use to stop a draft is smart. So That's why we think of the can of spray foam like they tried to do that we see up here. This is about the garage being cold and gases come in the house.
The fact that we've now found problems that are visible to the naked eye weren't caught then, it's a bit frustrating.
See those stairs?
Yes.
Anything over 3 stairs requires a footing. You see the footings underneath it? So when they did this, they took this out. So right away, I read the report, and this is not even in there. The problem with these stairs is the footings will not hold these stairs proper. It's not a precast step. It's not a full step like a full sill underneath the window. Without proper support, these stairs will shift and sink away from the house. He did catch that there's no rails, because we need a rail when we're over 3 steps. The other issue is that because they brought up the height of the front porch, they've changed the height of the steps. It's also very important that each and every step is the same height. As a matter of fact, it's absolute code. They won't even give you a 1/4-inch flex on this one. I don't like the way it's done. It looks good, but it's a piece of crap. Sorry. You have a hole up there.
We do. Well, that is one thing that the inspector did not catch, that there's a hole between the soffits and the stone of the house.
That's a pretty big hole.
It's big enough for a bird to get in and have a family.
Birds, eh? Why is it cold in the garage or the room above the garage? Why? There's holes everywhere. I care about the gases more than I care about cold air coming in. I don't want that exhaust coming into my house, especially if I have kids. It's not good for you. It can kill you. Oh, we missed that one. That hole is gonna allow all kinds of critters in. We're trying not to have holes inside our house. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna go up there, I'm gonna kick the birds out. Is that what I'm gonna do? I can't send them to a bird hotel, right? So what I may have to do is talk to the homeowners. I'm probably gonna do this and say, wait for the birds to leave the nest. Now, I heard something about a window well.
Yes.
Can I take a look at it?
Certainly.
Thank you.
During the inspection, we came across one of the windows in the basement, and on the floor, you could see that there was an area where there had been water on the ground before from down the wall. And I had spent the time to make sure to point out to the inspector that this was an area I really wanted him to look at. We were led to believe that it was fine, that it could have been from an open window or something else.
I read in the report that there was a cover over this.
Yes, there was a flat cover that was level with the deck when we first got the house.
Well, this is one thing that drives me insane. This is going to leak more than the actual window because I want to see a full precast. This is precast. It's not brick, so I really like that. So it should be a full piece. Think of the rain directly coming into here. Where does it go?
In the house.
Into the house, under the window.
Yeah. Yep. Right behind the brick is where it goes. Maybe they pulled out the window well because there's a window well there. Did you put that in?
No, that was previously.
So I think they took out the window well when they built the deck. Whoever built this deck pulled out that window well because it was in their way. And what the window well is going to do is try and stop any water or anything from getting too close to that window. But it failed, really, because there's no real sealant around these windows. If you really look at this, the stone is running down towards the house. If it is, it's going to bring the water towards there. There's a crack on each side of this window, and it's going to go right through that crack.
Ryan and I both were brought up understanding that the structure of your house was a very important aspect. He was worried that it could actually be the base of the foundation as opposed to the walls.
I guess you were thinking 5 years old, it was a good buy, a good area, nice, it is a nice area, nice high ceilings.
Yeah. I mean, the first thing is, oh my gosh, we have water in the basement. You think that's the worst thing. This was the area on the floor that was visible during the inspection. And it looked like you could see where it would run down the wall. After talking with the inspector again, he mentioned just cutting it open, having a look. And after doing so, we could notice, you can see where the water was coming down from below the window. As well, there's a few hairline cracks in the foundation that the water was flowing through as well.
Hairline cracks, it's in the report. They're standard, not really an issue. The water's coming from underneath the window. So water's actually building up on the back for whatever reason. Maybe it's sloping back underneath the deck, and we'll have to take a look.
We're not able to finish the basement until we know what is happening.
We see the signs of the water. We can see that there was a gap from the window frame itself to the wall. We see that somebody took out the window well in the back. If there's grade going away from the house, it's going to bring the water away. It's just going to go. But if it comes back for any reason, Maybe it was the deck guy. Maybe he dug a hole here. Maybe he dug a footing here. You don't know. Give the advice. You're gonna have to pull up that deck area. You're gonna have to take a further look. You know, you may want to do this and not just spray foam, but caulk, because spray foam is not watertight.
This was just tucked in up top, but very loose, and he didn't catch it. And we don't know where it goes, if it's live.
It goes up behind the
It's
wall
not
behind
live.
the kitchen somewhere.
It's not live. Gonna have to do a full inspection of your garage. I think that's gonna be the biggest culprit of the most amount of damage that I'm gonna be doing is in your garage. Things were missed by the inspector that I would have liked him to tell you about so that you understand and you can address these things yourself.
Great.
Okay?
Great,
Pleasure.
thanks.
Thank you.
Don't worry.
We won't.
Everything's gonna be all right.
Thank you.
I'm actually really not sure what Mike's gonna find now when he actually gets in and looks at the hole in the garage.
Now, a home inspector actually is not allowed, not qualified, will not open up a hole to inspect something. They can assume, which I wish they would assume more. But I can't, because this is beyond this inspection now, right? I'm here to find out what's wrong, what did he miss? This is where my job gets interesting, because I go beyond inspection. What do you see right now when you look up in that hole? What's right there? Ductwork, right? It's the exhaust line running. Why don't they, like, do an insulated blanket around the ductwork that leads to the room up there? Don't you think that's a smarter move? So if this is a cold area, air movement goes up against it. There's the ductwork right there, all right? That cold air not only cools that duct line, it takes a hell of a long time for the hot air to heat that duct, but it gets up into the floor. It gets up into the areas that it shouldn't get up in. Why am I getting so many emails that this is the coldest room in my house? Because it's not working. That's why. It's all gonna come down. The inspector really should have warned the homeowners about the vent and air exhaust for the furnace. Now, it needs to be minimum 3 feet away from any open window. So we're definitely 3 feet away from this. And just on the money on this one. What about this window? That's an issue. You know, this house is full of minor things. Stupidity. What plumber does this? That's an ugly joint. Well, I'll tell you what happened here. They actually ran all this first, cut this in after, and the way he tied it back in didn't work. This runs uphill. Drains don't run uphill. That means this is full of water, always full of water, so it chokes it off.
Mr. Holmes.
Mr. Bennett.
Hey, buds. How you doing?
It's a really nice neighborhood, a really fairly well-built home with some sloppiness. This is the drain.
Wrong slope?
Well,
it's got a bulge in the middle.
Yeah, because they pulled it up too tight. I swear, whoever strapped the lines was the helper. You know,
Yeah.
the plumber did his work and he went in and
You're probably
strap
right.
them.
Because they're knocking these houses off so fast in these subdivisions. I mean, they're here. It's piecework, right?
Piecework. You said it. Piecework. How fast can I make that piece work? Oh,
right.
Jesus, that's really good. No corner bead.
Yeah.
All kinds of gaps to allow the air in.
Yeah, holes here,
Beautiful
holes
tape.
there. So this wasn't inspected?
Yeah, it was inspected. So the homeowners did notice when it rained that water came in, and they were really concerned that it was coming in through the foundation.
Right.
We can see it was coming in from the window. So let's pull this off.
Yep.
Let's pull some of the deck boards back and take a visual of what we see here, okay? Okay, any problems, you know, call me.
The button.
Yeah, keep up the good work, buddy.
Thanks, man.
I have been to developers' homes. I have been to builders' homes. They don't have this crap. So that mortar just comes right out, right? I can take it out. And if that mortar's cracking, and if I keep pulling that out, you're gonna see practically the inside wall. Add a new one to your list, Mr. Inspector. Sills.
Okay, guys. This is your brand new home for a week and a half. I have to get them to take all the electrical outlets and lights off of the ceiling. We're gonna drop the ceiling. Those have gotta come off. And the proper gaskets have to be used. So what happens in the winter or in the summer, because someone's idling their car in here. People are upstairs. The vapors will actually get through any little crack possible and actually work its way into the house. That's carbon monoxide. It's poisonous, it could kill you. So we don't want that. You wanna make sure your garage is 100% sealed. We're gonna fix it properly.
Thank you.
They have a little bit of leak downstairs in the basement. As you can see here, all these sills, all the mortar's loose out of them, okay? It's around the whole house. We're gonna silicone all these, okay? And also there's no window well here. Somebody took the window well out at some point. MJ, you're gonna be dealing with the deck.
All right.
And you wanted a bit of a project, so you're gonna get it.
Oh, the rod.
That's the railing, right?
Oh, wow.
It's not the rod, it's the way they built it. It's really, really bad. Taking all these boards off, you're gonna be taking all these boards off on the front face, get everything off of this deck.
As you can see, the 2x6 isn't tied into anything. It's not tied into structure. They screwed it into here. What they should have done is bolted it into these 4x4s. That way it's one solid piece.
Oh my God.
Now, hold on, wait, it gets worse. Not only did they not use galvanized screws, but watch.
Why the hell? Okay, their structure looks good up until this point, and then it just fell apart. Okay?
Yep.
One, two, three. We know this window is leaking. I want a window well in there, so I need to see the framing under here. Then you have the rest of the day to come up with a design of what you want to do here.
This is a big job.
One, two, three. Well, I have MJ working on the deck. I think it's time to get Martin started on the plumbing.
Okay. Now 5 feet that way.
Yeah. You're on your own.
The first thing that I see is this joint is falling apart. I've got too much slope going this way, and then I have incorrect slope going past this fitting. So it's pretty much a valley formation, but there's going to be water sitting here. It's not going to drain properly. It will eventually create a blockage. This is only a vent, and look how much stuff there's already sitting there. And the farther we go, the more of that stuff we see. And this thing is, it's just pure grease. It's just the debris that you accumulate from just a regular usage of a kitchen drain.
You and me, stairs now. Let's go. Let's take these apart. I really want to see what's under here so that we can actually make a plan of what we're going to do here, okay? Well, it doesn't look like they're on a footing at all, does it? They got the heights wrong. They didn't get a pattern. This eventually would have sank away from the house and pulled everything away. And it was already dangerous, so it just would have made it more dangerous. Yeah, like that was never gonna fall apart. Look at that. That's the base right there. Just came apart that easily.
The water was coming in through the bottom of this window because there wasn't enough room to let the water dissipate. In other words, with no window well in place, when we get a lot of snow or a big rain, the water is just going to go right through the bottom of the window. But if there's a window well in place with a gravel bed, that will allow the water a chance to dissipate a little bit. Since we have this area partially excavated, it was a good opportunity to put another layer of membrane over top, overlapping the piece that was there, which was a little bit low. We did find a weeping tile system present, so that's good. We're gonna put a filter cloth over top of the piece of exposed pipe. And then we're gonna get our window well installed.
We showed up today with a call about birds. First thing to do is to take a look around to find out what kind of bird activity we have. We have a camera, it's a long snake camera, so we took a look up inside with that. Once we put the scope in and we were up at that level, we didn't hear any noises, nor did we see anything on the camera itself. Next recommendation, now that we've identified that there are no young, is to pull parts of the east trough out so that we can remove all the nesting material, and then we'll put that all back together and close everything off nicely so that the adults and nobody else can make it their new home.
This is typical of new home construction. What they do is they drop a false ceiling down in their garages. This is a room up above us. They insulate between the voids like they should do, vapor barrier it, and then they run a heat vent into this void to try and warm the floor. The unfortunate thing about doing something like this is that the cost actually gets passed on to the owner because your furnace is pumping this out. This is gonna always be cold. There's no way they're gonna heat this area. This amount of cold against this little heat run, who's gonna win? The cold's gonna win. There's way more cold hitting this than there is heat coming into it. Stairs came out obviously pretty easily. Me and Carlito took them apart in about an hour this morning.
No footings.
Absolutely no footing.
So you took the ceiling down?
Yeah, ceiling's down. No surprises. We knew exactly what we were gonna see, right? Heating run in, white insulation, cheap insulation, vapor barrier done very poorly.
Very poorly.
Very
I didn't
poorly.
see any tape at all on it.
There wasn't.
All right, good job. Let's bring in the homeowners and we'll tell them what we found.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ryan, Eunice,
Hello.
Mike?
nice to see you again.
Nice to see
Good
you
to see you too.
How are you doing
Ryan?
today?
Good, how are you?
Good to see you, sir.
Wow.
All right, there's no footings. Why is there no footings? Because this was what we call the builder's landscaping stairs. As long as they put in 2 steps, they don't need to put in a footing. So what we're going to do is bring in a landscaping specialist that is going to do a proper set of landscaping stairs for you. We're not going to tell you too much other than that. You'll see it when we're done, okay?
Okay.
Let's go to the garage.
Okay.
We took it down. They did have a hot air line in there. Think about that for a second. First of all, it's really against code. If you're going to put in a hot air run, you're going to have to do a return because you can't blow into a bottle. There must be air movement, right?
Right.
So we're capping that off. We're going to wrap all the pipes with insulation. Bring in Alex. He's going to spray foam everything. It will be a complete thermal break. And more importantly, no dangerous gases will be able to get into the house. Want to see the back here?
Love to.
Sure. It's a little bit of a...
Are we ready?
If you think this is a war zone, wait till you see the back. Take a walk in. You can see, well, it's not that bad. It's not that good.
No.
Okay, they dug down. You can see all the clay. We've had the Bone Brothers in, and they actually waterproofed the foundation in the area, which I love.
Yep.
They did have a vertical weeper there. And whoever built the deck, they actually leaned it back, correct?
That's right, yeah.
So it's not doing much if it's leaning back here when it's supposed to be picking up the water here. So we put it back in the right direction.
And absolutely, don't worry, your foundation is not leaking. That all the water from under this window is coming from this window.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
exactly what's happening. So I'm gonna take a look at the caulking. I'm gonna make sure that doesn't leak again.
Damon's come up with a great idea for the deck.
Should I tell him about it or keep it as a surprise?
Well, obviously, he's taken all the top boards off.
Saw that.
If you notice, they have the 4x4s coming up off the concrete post, which is correct. Holding it up, they have it bolted to the 4x4, so our structure is properly done, properly tied into the wall. So I'm looking at this thinking, they did get a permit. But what they didn't do was continue and design this deck to continue the post up to give a rail that's tied into concrete. I think the plumber that worked on this house did it on a Friday, and he really wanted to get his butt home. That's what I think.
Yeah. It's all about strapping down in the basement. Tight is strapping up too tight, give it a bow, nothing's draining. It's just a mess. It was just unclean work.
But we
Absolutely.
fixed it.
Good.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And we'll continue this until we're done, and then we'll bring it back and show you. And you know what?
good.
Maybe we'll have a party on the deck.
Hey,
Works for us.
Party on the patio.
We like that.
So once again, any questions? Anything you need?
Thank you.
It is great that they're going to deal with the garage and make sure that it's safe and warm for our guests and for us upstairs. Definitely help us with heating bills, and looking forward to having a warm room above the garage in the winter.
we're gonna install a window well and we're gonna put in a proper gravel bed.
And most important is that when the soil goes back in place, we have to make the soil in a bowl formation. So that weeping tile will be the center of the bottom of the bowl. So when we get a thaw, the water will go to the bottom of the bowl and drain out through the bottom of the weeping tile.
Well, we obviously have our thermal break-in. It's the best stuff you ever want to use. It's the spray foam. It's the 2-pound spray foam that we use. So we've coated all underneath the floor for the room upstairs and brought it up onto the face of the wall just to stop any draft at all from getting into that zone. No vapor barrier in here. We go right to drywall and mudding. It makes me very happy.
We got a bunch of stuff going on today. We're gonna tear up with the existing product on the porch there. It's just, it hasn't been sanded properly. It's not providing any kind of water protection for the house. It's not necessarily a horrible idea if it was sanded properly with some nice polymeric sand that locks up the joints, seals them up really well. Then we wouldn't have to worry about water getting in there. Problem is right now there's nothing. There's just voids and the water's getting underneath the brick. In the long run, you're just gonna get a lot of water penetration into the house, and also that salt that gets underneath the brick, that's just gonna eat away the concrete over time. We're also seeing damage already against the house on the pillars, the columns around the front of the house. That's probably the weakest concrete in this whole picture, so it's the first to take the damage.
Well, we came to fix a railing and we're doing a deck, it looks like. It happens every time.
We've completely restructured the outside of the deck, giving it a double outside plate here. It's something to actually, some meat to actually carriage bolt it through. We're gonna box them all in, glue it, screw it, bolt it. These posts are not going anywhere. This railing is not gonna move. It's gonna be solid.
There's a few little concerns, you know, that are unknowns right now how it's going to turn out. I know Mike mentioned about having perhaps to lose the stone on the front of the step on the landing out front.
We're at the front door right now. What is this doing right now? That is moving. What's behind this? This is the inside of your house. This is the wood framing of your house behind that. The basement is leaking right at this point. Water will always find the path of least resistance. This is least resistance. So the first thing I'm gonna do is mortar this piece back into place. I'm gonna caulk the joint right around the bottom. I'm gonna come up and I'm gonna caulk every seam possible. Once I fix the window in the back, they will no longer get water in that window. Once we fix this, water will no longer get in here. They have a dry basement. They can actually finish it the way they wanted to. Right to this piece? So we have a warm floor. Now what we're gonna do is make it safe for them from the carbon monoxide, which is our drywall. Our drywall, once you mud those seams with Durabond, we're gonna give it 2 coats. By code you need 1, we're gonna give it 2. It's gonna stop any vapors from getting through. We're also gonna put gaskets around all our switches and plug plates, caulking along the whole underside of all the drywall where it meets the wall. And voila, we have a totally sealed room away from carbon monoxide. They're safe, they're warm, and it isolates the garage. The really most important part is to really adhere this to the wall
and screws are the best. And another thing is a lot of guys will leave their drywall a half inch away from the corner. If you're walking by, you hit it with a piece of furniture, or you have something in your hand and you hit it, you'll end up cracking that seam. So the closer the drywall is to each other in the corners, the better the corner bead, the stronger the corner bead.
So Mr. MJ, show me what you got for the railing, man.
I came up with 2 ideas.
Yeah?
This is what I got. What I wanted to do is these railings here, say every 3 railings, I wanted to bring it up about 12 inches before the top.
Yeah.
And I wanted to put some lattice and some cove molding, maybe around that.
Tell me a bit about the other one then.
This one is actually a really, really simple design. There's these little pegs you get. You just drill them in the center of the 2x4.
Yeah.
And then you slip these posts on and pretty much call it a day.
So these are aluminum black railings?
It looks really nice and it's really simple.
Now I'm gonna go with this system because it'll go faster and it's actually gonna suit the deck a little more than I think this will. So I'm actually pretty proud, man. That looks really good.
Thank you, sir.
So now you just have to implement it for me.
I'll do the best I can.
Excellent. Pressure. The homeowner, Ryan, actually was explaining to me in the winter that the boards were so tight that nothing was draining off them and became an ice rink. And they were so tight they were actually shifting and splitting. They had no room to swell and shrink. So if you give it a space on pressure treated right away, you're good to go on whether the wood expands and contracts because you'll always have that gap.
Dishwashers require a dedicated circuit, and they clearly missed using the dedicated line that was provided. Well, when the inspector missed this, it could have been very easy to troubleshoot. All you had to do was go back to the panel. It was clearly marked dishwasher. When you turned off that line, dishwasher was still live. Why? Power's coming in from this box here. Just a matter now of connecting this wire to the wire that's going up to the dishwasher. I'm done. So I actually have an easy job for a change.
So our goal here is to create a staircase that itself will hold together, that the steps aren't going to shift independently. By using a slab of concrete underneath everything, the whole thing, everything we build with the interlock and the steps will all be one solid unit. So we're going to put in a steel lintel, which is going to be bolted to the foundation, and it's not going to be attached to the concrete, but the concrete is going to rest on it. So there's no chance that concrete is ever going to settle. Nothing will be able to shift independently, and we're backfilling that whole staircase with concrete as well. We have to use Ultra Base just because it's a dry pack product. We can treat it the same way we would gravel. It's a dry pack cement. It's just barely wet enough for us to work with, just with the assumption that tomorrow we don't have to worry about compacting it. It's hardened, it's in the process of curing. If we use regular cement, we'd have to pour a slab, we'd have to trowel it dry, we'd have to wait for it to cure. This becomes a much more labor-intensive process. So now with our product, we can dump the base in, rake it out, and then lightly hammer our first row of block down into that base. So we kind of do 2 or 3 steps all at once.
It's loose right now. Thank you. When I tell you guys are gonna lift this, okay, until it's level? Well, I've called some help into the backyard here. I think it needs more attention back here than Carl needs help in the garage. Okay, go. That's perfect. Thanks to my 2 strongest guys. Here, so I have the girls laying some deck boards, getting the guys ahead on the framing, getting their posts in, reframing this deck, because this deck over on my left here is actually sagged in the middle. We're correcting that right now by lifting up the middle and rebolting through. And maybe tomorrow I can actually get some railings on this thing.
This is neat. I've never actually done a deck before, so it's interesting to learn and fun to do, because I need to do one at my house.
Well, I have Ryan and his crew mortaring all the joints between the new stones on the front porch. They're cutting, measuring, and gluing the new stairs.
Right now, Damon's going to be building the planter boxes. There's going to be 3 of them in total. It's gonna look a little nicer than rails on the lower deck, which would be a little bulkier, it's not necessary. These will look really nice. Give her a place to garden.
You did a good job, man. So tack this one and then I'll help you level this.
I like this railing because it's simple, it's really it's easy, and it's fast to put together. And the end result looks pretty good, I'd like to think.
It's totally sand. Oh, do you think that's where it's leaking? Oh, I can feel the air conditioning from inside. See? That explains where all the water's coming from. They have a weeping hole right above the window, right into a thin bed of cement. It was never gonna hold water out. Clean that up, get all the mortar out, take a look if it needs spray foam, caulk it up. Okay, thanks.
We're redoing the vent. Code states you need to be 18 inches from any inside corner. Not only that, you need to be 3 feet from any window. Your off gases can come back into the house if someone would leave the window open. We drilled some holes through. We're venting it to the side of the house. There's nothing here that's in the way, so I'm all within code coming out this side of the house.
Is it coming in?
I'm not telling you anymore. It is now. It went in my face.
Voila, we have a totally sealed room away from carbon monoxide. They're safe, they're warm.
I mean, the first thing is, oh my gosh, we have water in the basement. You think that's the worst thing.
It's reveal day. It's gonna be stressful today. I'm gonna be on edge, and that puts everyone else on edge. You know, it's the stress of getting a job done, making it perfect for when they come in, when Mike comes in. I mean, I have a lot of stress on my shoulders about that stuff, so I take it pretty seriously. I can't say enough about the front steps. It actually ties into the house. I'm very happy with it. So we have that to do. We have the soil in the back. I have to get some soil in the garden in the front. Carl did a fantastic job. It's probably the nicest garage in this city alone. I cannot believe how nice it looks in there. So he's done a great job mudding it. I have the girls sanding right now just to help him out. We're touching up any holes, making sure we've covered everything in terms of caulking everything, making sure the garage is totally sealed, no vapors getting into the house. That's why we're here, making sure that that's done properly. We have Craig coming really soon to start painting it. Faster they're done, the faster Craig paints, the faster Frank can get in and start doing his plates. I need it painted before Frank can do his plates. So, got a lot going on today.
What we're trying to do here is prevent any air, any gases from entering the home. The boxes that are installed on the wall now are plastic boxes with a rubber gasket around it, which makes it tight behind the drywall. What we're going to do is, for added protection, is actually install one of these. To access the receptacle, you just need to flip one of those. But the added bonus to this is we have a rubber gasket. Once this goes on the wall, it basically prevents any gases from going into the home.
Nice fit.
Mr. Bennett.
Yes, sir.
Did it again. Don't you think you might have went a little overboard here?
No, come on. This is like perfect for this house.
This is like something I do.
I know. Well, I learned from the best, right?
This is nice. I would never have thought of a stone rail like this.
He came up with it at the beginning, and I said, go for it. And it is solid.
It is solid. Well, if the rest of the place looks like this, I'm going to be one happy camper.
I think you'll be a happy camper.
Let's see it.
All right.
Did we solve the problem in the corner?
Absolutely. We figured out what happened was that there was no silica sand in between the original stone, and they didn't mortar the joints, anything. So what happened? The water was sitting under the stone, saturating it, and it had nowhere to go. By the time we took up all the stone and we actually looked at the sill underneath the actual door sill, the concrete sill was actually loose. They just basically slipped it in and walked away. Water was just getting right into the house. We mortared it back in. I caulked around the whole thing before he laid his stone in.
Okay.
So Martin and Adam fixed all this. Frank fixed the electrical issue
Electrical, I
here.
heard it was actually tied into the light. Now he's got the dishwasher on its own. So the line was for the dishwasher.
It was, absolutely, yeah.
Mr. Bennett, you're getting really good at this.
Thank you, buddy.
Really
I
good
really
at
appreciate
this.
that.
That's good timing. I'm sure they're gonna like it too. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Come on up.
I want to say surprise.
No,
but
you know what? Yeah, he wants to say surprise, but it's not a surprise because you're home every day.
That's right.
So you've seen this.
It looks beautiful.
We've seen part of it. We haven't seen the finished product yet. The front steps are unbelievable. We liked the ones before, but these ones by far are way nicer than what we had ever dreamed of in the gardens and the planters out front.
The stone on the ground was new. It wasn't there yesterday
No,
either.
it wasn't.
Neither was the stuff on the other side.
On the
here.
other side, yes. If you
Yeah, I've
notice
seen
that, well, to balance it all out and to make it match is to cut the driveway, put in the runner on each side of the driveway to make it look right. But I do like this. I really do.
So do we.
Finished the drywall all the way, proper installation, and I wanted to make sure that we actually wrapped the ducts, sprayed everything. So no worries, you can probably call me in the winter and go, holy cow, Mike, I can't believe
You're boiling.
It's hot up here.
The garage is completely different than it was before. It's not even the same room. It almost looks like a bedroom in there. Somebody could live in there. It's done, it's smooth, it's seamless. It looks fantastic.
So what is the most important thing besides the cold issue of upstairs that we've solved? The most important, exhaust. We no longer have to worry. I'm so sick and tired of seeing the way they tape it down. You actually run a drywall strip here, didn't you?
No, that drywall strip was there, but there was no corner bead, and there was huge gaps right underneath all your drywall. So I had Kate caulking around this whole room. I mean, everywhere.
And sealing receptacles, right? So we have a gasket in behind it. So we make sure that no gases can get into your house because to me, this is really important. I'm surprised you didn't smell it before because A, all the holes, all the leakage, which is not allowed in minimum code. It's just not allowed. Let's go around the side of the house.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Okay, let's go. Kind of funky.
It does look awesome.
This looks so
It
good.
does look really, really good.
They planted a couple of trees.
Hey, look at your step, too. Look at that.
Wow.
My foot fits on
Yes,
it.
see, that's I'm size 12, he's size 12.
Yeah, and it
that's
fits.
the way to do it.
There's a bench.
Yeah, there's a bed.
Now that's actually a really smart idea. I didn't think of that. That was Damon. He sealed the window. He built the bench, which creates somewhere to sit, which is a great idea. You just come over here and sit at the window. This is what I like with Ryan. You go, honey, can I have a beer? So you got to make sure this window's open for that.
All time.
We did a water test on your window because remember I was telling you that your foundation is not leaking, it's your window, and we proved it today. We soaked the hell out of that window and nothing came in. So I just had Carl talking to me back and forth to the window and I gave him a little spray myself. So. We did both, 2 water tests.
Two water tests. There's something that says that the home inspector needs to be more, not liable for what he misses, but come on now, if you don't know these things, educate yourself, find out. What does it take? You walk in the garage, I see holes. I see a cold zone. I see things. Okay, you may want to bring someone in here who knows what we're talking about because this doesn't look right. Had he have said that, I would have been happy. Look at the window. He said there was no problems. If you look at the window, it looks like there's problems because you're the one that noticed it was leaking on the inside, right? Is it comfortable? Do you like it?
I love it.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
It's been a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure helping you both.
Have a hug.
Appreciate
Yes,
it.
Thank
this is
you.
how I get
It was a
paid.
pleasure.
Thank you so much.
very much.
You are
No
welcome
worries.
very much.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you, Sherry.
Look at the tomatoes. Is that curry chicken?
It's jerk chicken.
Jerk chicken.
Yep.
I like you more.
Spicy for you?
Oh, that's not ketchup. That's hot sauce.
Cheers. I went in.
Good chocolate. Whoa, is that ever soft? Not a good sign. I almost went through that.
If we had known the roof is in the shape that it's in, we wouldn't have bought this house.
What did you notice?
There was multiple layers of shingles.
Nothing in the report on that, by the way.
You really count on the inspection report to do that deep dive for you. In this case, it kind of let us down.
Paul and Jennifer knew the area they wanted to buy. They know what they're looking for. What they missed was not finding the right home inspector. Most people really don't know about a house. And then I run into some homeowners like Paul. He knows a little bit about a few things, and what happens? Toilet's not flushing right. Something's wrong. I'm not getting air behind water. It's the first thing he thinks of. What does he do? He goes to the roof. What does he notice? I don't see a roof vent. Ooh, the roof doesn't look good. First time on the roof. Well, he thought the home inspector did this, right? So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna do a homes inspection. I'm gonna bring in the right people, and we're gonna make it right. That simple.
We met actually through the internet. We just had so much in common, and we have very similar outlooks on life. And being outdoors is a passion that we share. Paul is very much into mountaineering. It's actually a good neighborhood for running because we're really close to the lakeshore trails. We have a lot of pride of ownership, and we often notice that when people are walking along the street that they'll kind of are always looking at the house.
We looked at houses that were bigger and smaller. Problem with the bigger house is just more to maintain.
This house had a lot of charm. Nice hardwood floors. There's some beautiful plaster crown molding detail.
It's a nice mix between kind of modern and old.
It's very move-in ready, which is what we were really looking for because we're both extremely busy. It's not very far from downtown, but still we can have a little garden. We've got a couple of bird feeders out back too, and I love watching the birds. The owner had gotten it pre-inspected. We flipped through the inspection report and it said, great roof, it's in really good condition.
The summary report said that the front-facing slope had been replaced with shingles expected to last 20 to 25 years. We had a roofing company come in to do a free estimate. He went up on the roof and then noticed multiple layers of shingles. He said, when it fails, it will fail spectacularly.
It's important to have Mike come in to redo the inspection because I don't trust this house. I don't trust that the fundamentals of this house are right.
Jennifer?
Hi, Mike.
Mike, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Paul. Yeah, pleasure to meet you. I love the older homes, I really do. Things I don't like. I don't like that they put the oil over the brick. Pros, it makes it watertight.
Yeah.
Okay? Cons, it traps it. Signs that water's gotten in will push the paint off, just like we see here. So, what's the mistake here?
It's drywall, first of all.
Right, you're allowed to use drywall, but I don't recommend it. So
You're
that's
allowed
number
to
one.
use drywall on an exterior porch.
It's water-resistant drywall, it's green drywall. So they vented the area trying to allow exhaust within that attic zone because it's gonna get so hot up there.
Yeah.
The skylight, all condensation, we can see it's running everywhere. So the whole thing has got a ton of moisture in there.
As far as I recall, there was nothing mentioned in the report about the skylight. We discovered one day we looked out, there was a pretty good-sized puddle on the floor of the porch.
When I first walked up here, come on down here, the cedar's beautiful. It looks really good. It's definitely new. It's not part of the age of the home. I still need to go up there. I don't see a cap on the clay flute chimney. That's not in the report. The bricks have been parged, which usually is a sign that there was an issue with the tuck pointing or the brick falling apart.
When you're just walking up the walk, you can see that front part of the roof that was freshly shingled, and it's like, oh, the roof looks like it's in great shape.
And that's really the only side that a potential purchaser is going to see. So you're really relying on a home inspection.
Okay, come on in and we'll see the rest of the house. We've got a nice-sized dining room in here.
And what do we have here?
This was a pantry when we first looked at it. Now it's just kind of a general kind of cleaning closet.
Was this open when the inspector came in?
No.
No.
Paul had to tear out all the drywall that was in here.
Why?
Because when we moved in, we realized that the toilet didn't flush particularly well.
Did you have any issues at all with venting?
We thought maybe that the vent was plugged. I went up on the roof to try and determine what the problem was. Is the vent plugged?
What did you notice?
I couldn't really determine which was the roof drain for the actual roof itself and what was the vent. The biggest problem that you could see was that there was multiple layers of shingles.
Nothing in the report on that, by the way.
In the wintertime, you can really feel the cold air.
There's quite a draft in various parts of the house.
I guess there is.
Yeah.
This is an old home.
Oh,
they didn't even know about
Yeah, no,
really
that's true.
insulation.
That's true.
Let me tell you, they put a couple of pieces of newspaper in the attic and they
True.
said, you're fine.
Yeah.
If you want to insulate this, spray it. I see signs of moisture, but they're minor. They're really minor. This is in great shape. You start with the little things.
Yep.
Move your downspouts. If
Yep.
they're into the ground, are they in the ground?
No, they've been disconnected.
All right, so disconnected, away from. Get any gardens away from the outside of the house that are too close to it. Grade it away. You start with all this. I really don't like the electrical through it. I'm seeing all kinds of joints here.
Yeah.
You didn't do this. Tell me you didn't do this.
Oh, God. There was lots of kind of wire up here that didn't go anywhere that Paul just kind of pulled down.
And there was not in the report about the concern that this was possibly done without a permit. Address what you can see, right? This is open, fix all this.
And you really count on the inspection report to do that deep dive for you, because you don't have the opportunity when you're just house hunting. So you really rely on that, and you need that. In this case, it kind of let us down.
I read in the report he did not go into the attic. Is that right?
That's correct.
Correct.
Right away, I would have looked at that report and go, he didn't go in the attic. Why didn't he go in the attic? It's right there.
We were moving in, we noticed that the toilet wasn't really flushing. Went up on the roof and then noticed multiple layers of shingles, at least 3 that we can see.
I don't trust the house anymore.
Got pot lights galore in this house.
Yeah, it's nice. I like it.
So this is the master bedroom.
Where's your bed?
We've actually moved the bed to the back of the house just because of the construction across the street. It's so noisy.
Okay, so it is a man-made skylight. They're relying on caulking, and you can't rely on caulking. That's not the way to do this. Floor registers here.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to assume that we have an overhang on the porch.
Yes, you do.
I also see a small dip here, so that means the wall downstairs is approximately where my boot is. I do see a dip in the structure. I'd like to know more about, is that being good enough? Because based on the age of the house, odds are, over the years, it's gotten rotten. So these are things that I would have noted. You know, you want to look at the structure. I'm gonna go up on your roof. I'm gonna put on a harness just for safety, and I'll take a look at it and I'll tell you what I see.
Sure.
Other than that, I got a lot of work to do.
Okay.
So I'll get back to you.
Okay.
Great.
All
Thank
right?
you so much, Mike.
A little bit of deterioration. Now, as I'm walking around on here, I notice that this roof feels spongy. From the bottom, I can see that the curbing here was built up. Look at the vent. I don't see a vent stack anywhere else. I know there's a bathroom approximately here. I know the kitchen's just over here. That tells me this is the roof stack. This is not what we're used to seeing. I'll explain. Next door, there's a vent stack. There's a vent stack. You see how they both are? I look at this and go, okay, was this broken? Okay, this is really not the way to do this. If for any reason this vent were to be blocked by leaves and snow, and believe me, it will stop the airflow of the venting pipes and cause a blockage in the draining system. It looks good though, doesn't it? Well, there's a problem. So somebody shingled over the front, covered the back. They didn't see the back. Homeowners don't see the back. What's wrong with these shingles? They're curling up. That tells me there's more than one layer of shingles. There's 4 layers of shingles here. Not a good sign at all. These shingles themselves are not going to last much longer. Whoa, is that ever soft? Holy cow, not a good sign. I almost went through that. I think that's soft because we have a lot of rot issue underneath it. No, everything I see, I take a shot of. The surface mold is simply because moisture was trapped on this side and it grew some surface mold. We can easily clean that. Love that stained glass. This is the wonderful bathroom that was renovated probably in the last 10 years. It's not bad. And that's not insulated. I could see right below us here is that cupboard in the kitchen. I could look up. So right below I could see there was no insulation in the wall whatsoever. So whoever did the renovations here, once again, did a facelift. We know the wall downstairs, the wall of the house, is approximately right here where my flashlight is. The floor joists are more than likely cantilevered, so what we're doing is picking up structure from another structure over top of a wall. So that's called cantilever. Whoo! There's some heat for you. Look at that. We can see the shingles right on the other side of it. You can see the black right there. Okay, there's signs of moisture, signs of moisture. I don't like seeing the vapor barrier right there. Putting a vapor barrier up is going to trap moisture, and it's not a good idea. I don't know who did it, but it needs to come down. I'm going down where it's cool. Oh, you can use drywall outside, providing you use the right drywall. But it just doesn't work. It doesn't last. Don't do it. I'm a little concerned about this column. I have to be honest. I've been looking at it a few times now. It's as if the whole thing is shifting left. Because the roof was leaking from the skylight, I mean, all that moisture is getting down to that beam. And with the post leaning, it's not if it's gonna fall, it's when it's gonna fall. Look at this. This is what we call a key to the meter. This key cannot be broken. Someone touched it, and the people at, say, the Electrical Safety Authority are not going to like that. And they actually have the legal right to go back and find out who did it. This is a bad sign. But you know what? There's enough on the inside of the house that tells me there was a lot done without permits. Was that in the report? No. Mr. Bennett.
Oh, Mike. How are you? You look relaxed.
Lots of renos. It looks like the whole place was gutted. We're not going to go too far into this because it is an old home, double brick construction. Let's start this way.
All right.
I'll show you downstairs first.
Okay. Another small basement.
Yeah, it's one of these ones that I get a sore neck and a sore back and a couple of bumps on the head.
I can stand.
Yeah, oh, look, right between the floor joists. I kind of like that. All right, new furnace used to be here. They have a pump, no floor drain due to the actual drainage being above grade. This house is in around 1912.
Sewers were not as deep?
Yes.
Okay.
So the sewers on the street were not as deep.
Right.
And basements were never designed to be
livable spaces, right.
It was a utility room.
Right.
I see a panel that was done, all nice and proper, but nothing's really marked. Okay. These are things that tell me there was no permit. Let's have Andrew check to see if there's electrical permit pulled on this house.
Okay.
I'll take you to the front porch, walk you around the side, and then tell you what I found on the roof.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. Obviously, the skylight leaked and it was damaged, and someone came in later and put up new drywall.
Oh, they didn't prime it?
No, of course not.
Right.
Open this up completely. Okay. I want to see everything to do with this. I want to see the structure beam in behind this. Yeah. We're going to have to bring in, obviously, Alex to add some insulation.
Okay.
We'll go to the front lawn. I can tell we have way too many layers of shingles on this house. As well as the back flat roof, way too many layers. Okay. I have a funny feeling it could be over stone gravel tar mix.
Yeah. Oh,
they may have just taken off the stone and gone over it.
So what are we doing, opening the roof?
Yeah.
Are we talking about reframe?
I don't know. It's an old house.
Wow.
They did address a lot of things on their own, which was really good. I said, did you take the downspouts out and direct them away from the house? They said yes.
Oh, good.
Let me show you.
Okay.
What's wrong with this?
Everything?
Well, it's running to the side of the house, which brings it right back to the foundation.
Ice brings it that way.
It's not a sealed foundation. So, let's see if we can't get convince Steve to reroute that left across underneath the soffit there, down and out to the backyard.
Okay.
And if there is any problems, don't phone me. Just kidding. Phone me.
I will, buddy.
Thanks.
Okay. Thanks, man. I don't see sun anywhere.
That's a good thing.
Really?
Yeah, it's not so hot.
Hey, listen, man, if you're not nervous, I'm not going to be nervous.
Here's a roof that's been stripped. Here's a roof that hasn't. There's 4 layers of shingles here.
If we had known that, the roof is in the shape that it's in, we wouldn't have bought this house. No. If it had clearly said that in the home inspection, we would have said no.
So, 2 main things that Mike did mention to me right off the bat, and we have access to the pot lights here, and you can actually see the wires here. They're not encased within the box and Moretta together. They're throughout the whole basement here.
So no connectors?
No connectors at all. So, new panel. Look, it's like you're psychic or something. You knew there was a new panel down here, right?
They labeled some of the dedicated things.
Yeah.
Clearly, there's no sticker saying that it's been checked by the Electrical Safety Authority. I've already checked with the ESA. There is no permit. So,
Right.
brand new panel, cash job.
You
That's
knew
all
it.
I can say. Junction box is right here. Why, if the panel's right there?
Right.
Why couldn't these wires be long enough to reach there? Like,
You're nervous.
yeah.
You being nervous makes me a little
Right off
nervous.
the top, we need more height. So you're gonna.
Good luck with that, because look at this. I disappear if I stand up straight.
You look better like that.
Yeah, thanks.
What was wrong here was they had some open air connections. They had married the wires together and just taped it. I'm gonna put a junction box, put my wires, make my connections inside, put a cap on it, and it's all fine.
So first thing I'm gonna do is pull the shingles off, which will give us an idea what the sheeting looks like.
Okay, well, that'll give us time. I'll let you guys work up there, and as soon as you guys are done, so you're not dropping stuff on our heads, we'll start tearing off everything from underneath and start looking around.
Perfect.
Okay, I'll meet you up there.
This roof has had some work done to it. Obviously, the house is much older than plywood sheeting. This is sort of the first sign. We've got some wood damage. This is right at the corner of the existing skylight, so to speak. What I'm looking at here actually is the original board sheeting underneath the plywood. There's definitely an issue with water penetration here. You can see the rot of the wood. This is the same area where we see some bubbling of the paint and such in the inner ceiling. That's been happening for a long time. $19.28. Price, 2 cents.
This was just holding water like a bathtub. Well, it looks like something's holding water here. I don't know where this was. It looks like the vapor barrier is on the wrong side here. I don't know what this was. Let's empty the water out. Well, that's definitely holding water. Katie?
Yeah.
Grab that in there. Nothing has ever been done properly here. When they redid this roof at one point, they shoved insulation back, it fell back, cold air got in there, made the room cold. I am gonna spray foam this and make sure that they keep toasty warm in that front bedroom. But before I get there, I have a lot of work to do. Condensed milk, 31 cents. Oh. It's too bad it's so brittle.
Those pictures are as old as you.
Pardon me? Adam, down. Okay, Kate, clean up for the day. We're out of here. We're gonna watch you clean up.
I don't think you like that one too much. And now I get to clean up by myself. While everyone else is sitting down, drinking water, and giggling.
Well, we have all the lumber here to start putting this roof back together, which will go pretty quick. We're ready for it.
See, we're gonna tarp it for the rain?
Yeah, just tarp it off the weekend.
I have a roof off, I need to tarp it. I have a little bit of electrical in there. They ran a plug and some pot lights in there that I want to protect. We're gonna keep them in there until we have the electricians back. Everything's gotta be tarped off to protect the house at this point. So Steve, I thought roofers were afraid of the rain.
It's not gonna rain.
I don't see sun anywhere.
That's a good thing.
Really?
Yeah, it's not so hot.
Okay, well, what do you want to do? You want to tear this off today?
Well, what I wouldn't mind doing is opening up a section of the flat roof just to see what we're going to get into.
Okay, because you know what I'm worried about? It's a flat roof, right? We open it up, and where are we going to stop water from coming in if we can't get to it today? So that's why I'm worried about opening this roof today.
I'm a little worried about where this drain actually goes as well.
What were you saying about that drain? You think it actually ties into the stack?
Well, there's no stack visible on the roof, so I think whoever did the last roof cut the stack and then used the stack as the drain.
You're absolutely right. They cut the stack down and used, oh my God. That's wrong.
That's wrong.
In an older home, there's usually one air vent that extends above the roof line. This ensures that there is always air behind water when you flush the toilet, drain the sink, or tub. Okay, open up a hole and let me know what you find, because whatever you find, I have to fix, right? Before you can roof this. Now, the first layer peeled up way too easily, but after that, it was just layer after layer of dusty old tar and gravel. What a mess. How far do you want to go with this at this point, then?
Literally, we have a day just ripping this.
But I mean, if this is the worst part, we just have to take off 5 layers of tar and gravel?
Yeah.
I mean, that's great. I don't really want to get into structure here.
But we're also at the high point of the roof.
Right.
I think it's probably quite different over there.
Right where the makeshift drain is, you mean? Now that Steve's to task down there, he's dealing with that issue. He's going to clean up that lower roof. Before he starts on this, I just want to take a look at this chimney. And I can definitely see I have to do some flashing on the top of it. I guarantee this is leaking. Once we rip this roof off, I can actually rip the flashing off, take a better look at the base of the chimney. I'll cap the flue and just get a rain hat on it and call it a day on this one, hopefully. And I'll double check the other chimney down there, because that one is in way worse shape than this one is. I thought we might see some signs of rot. A little bit of dry rot here and there, but it's gonna be fine. I got the guys to pick up some 1/2-inch plywood. We're gonna resheet this roof just to give it some strength. There's a little bit of a bounce in it. By resheeting over the original board, it'll actually help strengthen it a lot. I wanted to tear this whole thing off today and just get the whole thing redone, which we cannot do now. It's gonna rain today, it's gonna rain tomorrow. Steve and I have agreed we're gonna tear off half of this roof and get it covered. We have to protect the house.
I haven't been counting the buckets, but I think it took a little more than 50. Just way too many, you know, if you count it just drags on and on, so just get it done.
Okay, this is in way better shape than I thought. We don't actually have to worry about any structure. So now we have to deal with venting.
I think we might be doing new aluminum soffit, so we can do vented panels, and then we can put some roof vents in.
The reason we're strapping this is we want the roof to breathe. We'll get our framing in first and take out that belly. Right now you can see that it's actually pitching that way. I thought we might see some signs of rot, but it's gonna be fine. I got the guys to pick up some 1/2-inch plywood. By resheeting over the original board, it'll actually help strengthen it a lot. That's really funny. It goes nowhere. Too funny. 3 biggest headaches out of the way. I have the front porch ripped off, I have the roofs taken care of, and I have my electrical test done. Time to call in the big guy.
So you got some reading material.
I like to call it insulation from the 20s.
There was actually insulation,
It was,
believe it or not.
I want to spray foam that void, getting at least as much spray foam as I can in between each wall stud.
What about the beam?
The beam is dry rotted out, so I got to replace it. Unfortunately, though, Mike, we have 2 pillars that have been bowed out.
You're gonna have to support his side too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You may be able to reuse the columns, but I'd be prepared with new steel columns just in case.
Will do.
Knob and tube, how far does that go?
It only goes to this switch right here, which we can replace right away.
Okay.
You want to get them?
Yeah,
I think this is.
Like this.
It looks like there was a fire or something back here.
A little dirty. You should see the roofers.
So
Yeah.
4 layers of the stone and tar. Okay, 4 layers. Now, we are in a construction zone, so I'd want you to put your helmet on, and Damon's got one for you. Right.
There you go.
Thank you. First, I'll tell you about your attic. Now, I took a look at the attic, and there is insulation in the attic. The vapor barrier's on the wrong side. They put the vapor barrier on the top, incorrect. But you're going to stay down here because
I'm afraid of heights.
you're afraid of heights. I hear you're a mountain climber.
Yeah. Better you than me. Good luck. Have fun.
Now, you can see how thick the roof is. It's right here, right? There's how thick it is here. When it changes the structure that much and bellies the roof like that, you can see all the shims that we have to do to create that perfect slope out. That's not what you want. So the way we're doing it now is to actually crib up, and that's what we wanted to do. And now what that's going to do is, as long as we tie into the soffit, which I want to do, have some roof vents on this side, it allow us to have air underneath the roof, because we must breathe from one side. You remember the drain you had?
Yep.
That's your vent stack. It would freeze in the winter and block off your airflow to all your plumbing, so it would choke off your toilet, your sink, everything.
Is that why you came up here originally? What brought you up on here?
It was the original problem was to check out the vent stack because the toilet wasn't flushing properly.
That's right.
Yeah.
So they pulled the roof on this side, re-sheeted over top of it just to make it stronger, even though we have beautiful old hardwood underneath that. And then they're going to do the shingles, but there's no sense because you can see just how black everything is. Yeah. That will be done last.
Yeah.
At least your structure's okay.
For, almost 100 years old.
I was very excited, I got to tell you.
Yeah. Actually, your structure's okay here. Let me show you something else.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go to your front porch.
All right.
Well, come right up. Okay, so I asked them to open it up. I asked, I want to see what's in there. I asked them to take the front off, and sure enough, we found the wood is a little rotten.
Yeah.
So that means that beam must be replaced.
Okay.
Now, we did have a slight tilt with your column on both sides. So that means new beam, we might as well go new columns, and that's exactly what we're going to do. See what else we see? Knob and tube.
I'm sorry, I don't know very much about electrical, so how do you see the knob and tube?
That's the type of wiring that you see right there.
Okay.
So just the way it's tied into the box is wrong. Now that leads into the switch on the inside of the house.
Okay.
Any questions?
You mentioned when we were in the backyard, there's the 4 layers, and then they would never take them off, but at some point, you have to, don't you?
Well,
As a
there's
homeowner-
limits to the amount that you're allowed to have on the roof.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to rules, roofers are supposed to tell you there's too much up there,
Yeah.
we need to take it off.
Well, it's just surprising over, 90 years or something, no roofer ever said, you know what, we've got to take some of this off.
Money seems to dictate that. The roofer will say, you know what, we should strip this, but if we just go over it, we'll save you thousands of dollars. And then, the homeowners go, you can save me money, just it's not going to cave in? Oh, no, it won't cave in. We're going to do it the right way. And now that, nowadays, like I said, you want to make sure it breathes underneath it. So I'm sure he'll explain to you what we're doing.
Yeah. I'm not a home inspector. I'm fairly handy, but I could clearly see that there was an issue with the existing roof. I mean, it's plain
It's
plain as
ridiculous
day.
that wasn't caught.
Yeah.
Absolutely unacceptable.
Yeah.
Keep smiling.
We will.
I'll see you soon.
Okay, great.
Any questions, you know who to ask.
Okay.
Him, and he'll come to me.
Realized today that our boards are good, our structure is good, it was great. We vented it, sheeted it, and now Steve's got some felt paper, he's got some felt board, and that's all for fire protection. When he torches on his membrane, he's gonna want a fire protection against the wood. These are old homes. You're gonna have a lot of really dry wood and a lot of combustible materials that when you put a flame to, is just gonna wanna go poof. Chimney's being parged right now. I have to continue with my shingles. What I wanted to do was hit the base. The actual chimney itself is in great shape. The flashing was actually helping erode the rest of the mortar in between the brick because it was allowing water to come in. The flashing was not up to par. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna re-parge it. I'm gonna get Steve to re-flash it, and then he can do his shingles. I have to replace this beam today. So I'm gonna take off all the excess weight. We have half the roof structure already built. What I had to do is do a temporary support because I have a beam from the neighbor side actually coming into our beam. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sandwich that and bring this back to one piece for both. Okay, you good to go?
we've done up to this point is basically create an airspace over top of the existing roof. We're going to have open air intake at the soffits and roof vents on the roof for exhausting that air.
You can see just how dirty everything is. Look at your vegetation, your flowers. These are just beautiful.
It literally looks as though there was a fire.
We've got brand new lines that are coming into this box. The lights that are outside are clearly knob and tube, so since I've got brand new cables here somewhere, whether it's here or whether it's on the top of the ceiling, there is an illegal junction box. So we're gonna have to find where that illegal junction box is, open it up, and correct from this location to the outside lights. So what you find?
Where it looks like there was the holiday plug out there. You got new Romex coming in here and old, looks like knob and tube going back out.
Now, do you have this crowned, Adam? Yep. Okay. Okay, so what we're gonna have to do is put it on an angle, Adam. We're gonna have to kick it back like that. Yeah, I got it. Okay. So, Kate, you gotta tilt the top out to me, right? There you go. Now it's gotta go to you, right?
Yeah. It's good right about there.
Okay, 1 sec, let's tilt it up.
Can I hit it with my hammer?
Yeah, if you can, for sure. Attach these rafters to the beam. Attach the beam to the posts. And now let's start the rest of our structure getting the skylights in, okay? Good job. The granulated surface going on now. They went with a lighter material to not give it so much heat into the roof. Steve's guys are also tearing off all the eaves troughs right now, putting new on, and eventually get trough all the way around the side here. Not only is the roof better, but we've actually fixed a big problem here, which was the stack. Instead of water running to our fake drain, it's now going to be picked up by trough that's on the side of the house. Trough picks it up, brings it to the back, and does not bring it into the house and out.
This home being roughly 100 years old, ventilation wasn't really something they thought about, so it's something we sort of have to do after the fact when we're redoing these roofs. We restructured the roof to create an airspace above the old roof. It's going to act as a better thermal break in terms of the insulation's R value.
We have 3 inches of spray foam eco on the outside bedroom wall. The rest of the house is not insulated that well. It's double brick construction. It's going to hold out some cold. So we did what we could. When we tore this down, we had the opportunity to get at least 3 inches of spray foam on the bottom of the floorboards because we were able to through the void, and then we were able to get it on the wall that will actually help with any kind of cold air getting up and hitting the floor, stopping any kind of breeze and stopping them from having cold feet. I want Steve to actually finish the roof today. We're gonna get the skylights in, obviously, for him to finish that roof. And we're gonna actually start cladding this whole thing.
Installing the asphalt shingles, the vents, we're gonna flash the chimney, metal flashing on the other chimney as well, and that's basically the last few final stages on this roof.
The other thing we're doing today is we're gonna pull all these boards off. We're gonna take the vapor barrier off. It's on the wrong side. They have the vapor barrier on the top. The vapor barrier should be on the bottom. Before the ceiling goes on, they put a vapor barrier, then they put their insulations on top of that. We're actually gonna add blown-in insulation on top of the insulation that's down here. These posts are about 80 years old. The pillar is sort of kicked out a bit, which is no big deal. The pillar's still fine. The post is actually leaned out. I have to repair it. I have to bring it back in. So when I started looking at the post, you can actually see rot. 80 years of weather on this post has actually rotted parts of it out. Wow. Okay, so let's get the other posts. Grab me a 4-foot level and a 2-foot level, please. You know, we'll be actually totally covered here, right? Okay, you're almost there now. Okay, so let's get the level on this. Getting near the end of the job. We're actually at the front porch now, just trimming it up. We're getting it ready for painters who are coming in today. We have Steve here finishing off the roof, putting the skylights in today, getting the flashing done, getting it actually shingled today so we can actually finish that off. Well, I have the electricians here today. They're just touching things up. They got to hang a couple of lights that we took down to fix the electrical, and they have to put a plate up. We have cleanup. We actually killed the front lawn, so we're reseeding, we're raking it, everything. We're just tidying up the whole house at this point, just making it perfect.
Homeowners here had a rain barrel before. It was positioned over there, and it was made for tight access in this alleyway. So we got a new one here that actually has a flat back. We've got a diverter on this downpipe. We can either divert the water into the rain barrel or divert it out into the garden.
The skylight, all condensation, we can see it's running everywhere. So the whole thing has got a ton of moisture in it, right? Because it's pushing the paint off.
I did not anticipate having to put all of that money into things that should have been fine in the first place.
Oh, it's like a brand new old porch.
Yeah, you like it?
I like that.
It actually looks like almost the identical porch, but a lot better.
Talk about heritage, eh?
Yeah,
Who says we
absolutely.
can't make it look old? So
Yeah.
we're done, we're good?
We're all good. We're good. We had a little bit of electrical issues that we've dealt with, very minor. Frank was very happy about that. Those are dealt with. We have our 40 in the attic.
Okay, so we got the electrical taken care of, knob and tube on the front porch, back issues, ventilation, we're really good on that.
Oh, the
roof.
The flat roof is so ventilated, it's going to breathe forever. It's really well done. So
That's what happens when you clear the lungs. You know?
Exactly.
I can breathe.
You know what I was happy about? That we didn't have to restructure that whole roof. That's what I was really happy about.
I got rather lucky here.
Yeah.
Homeowners been good?
They're great. Yeah, they just came back off vacation. I think they're rested.
Did we reshingle the front part of the roof?
Not the front. We didn't need to. The previous person tried to sell this house, only did the front of the roof.
Which is maybe one of the home inspectors said, oh, your roof is okay.
What did he do? Did he look at it from the street? There is no way he was up there. Otherwise, he would have realized it.
Let's go get him.
All right, man.
Well, hello.
Well, hello.
Welcome to the secret garden.
It is the secret garden. It's on the door. Jennifer, Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Nice to see you again.
Good to see you.
Oh, it's clean.
It is.
It's the last time I was here, this was like the dirtiest backyard on the street. Not to mention the construction guys across the street.
Yeah, exactly.
Bit of a war zone.
It was funny. We had people vacuuming your front lawn this morning.
Like they vacuumed everything.
And people are laughing, right? But it's what you have to do.
Did you get looks on the street? Like people going, what are you
Vacuumed your
doing?
plants, vacuumed the trees.
Awesome.
Well, you know that they pulled up the roof, that they actually picked up the roof line and created an air pocket underneath. That we want that air venting right underneath the whole roof. So you no longer have a drain on the roof that was actually your vent stack. The vent stack now comes up through the roof and is properly brought up.
Good news.
I'm curious to know, is everything draining properly now?
Yeah, no, it's
seems
perfect.
to be.
Is that right?
Yeah,
So that was the
it's
problem
great.
for sure.
We rerouted the water the way we wanted. What we did want it to do was bring it down, make it across the top of the fence, bring it down, and water your garden, not your foundation.
So is it? So then the flat roof is now sort of angled this way a little bit, so it's all kind of going into
Towards your
the
eaves troughs.
Oh.
Introducing the proper ventilation combined with the proper slope, we're solving a lot of other problems. We're not having the roof basically rot from the inside out. With the pitch on the roof, the proper pitch, and it's going to allow the roof to drain properly, and it's going to, you know,
Keep the basement dry.
Exactly. Yeah, make a big
good.
difference there.
Had Hydro come in, put a proper clip on there, because it was the first thing I noticed that clip was hanging off, which told me somebody played with the meter. Because that's why they put this on there. It's just the dummy clips to keep the dummies away from it. Let's go play with the construction guys out front. It's going to be a little noisy, but we'll show you the front porch.
We're used to it by now.
Okay. Okay, look at the front porch.
Lovely.
You know what this is to me? This is a brand new old porch.
Yep.
And I love saying it that way because it's not an old brand new porch. It's a brand new old porch.
Yeah.
And that's the idea, is to keep it looking the heritage that it has there. And if you notice, there's no drywall on the roof. Let's go up there.
Wow, what an improvement.
Your beam was all rotten.
Yeah.
It's been fully pulled out. A brand new beam has been put in. And what I love about this is these are new posts, which still looks old. I love this.
We love that.
Carrying the line up, you notice how he boxed around it, eh?
Yeah.
And what this does is hides that joint in between the two houses where it was more on your side than their side.
Yeah.
Proper lights.
Oh,
Two
look
new
at that.
skylights, and
Nice.
still angled so it allows that light to come inside the house.
great.
Because that side looks so great, this side just wasn't working. I mean, it didn't tie into anything. It was all on its own. We decided to mimic what we did on that side, and we matched it on this side just to sort of tie it all in together and actually give you a little bit more privacy. It's like your own little Eden in here.
Well, now that the front porch has all been fixed up and it actually looks really nice, and even with the lattice at the sides, it seems as though it's more private than it was before. So it'll be nice that we can actually sit out there, you know, enjoy the sunset once the construction's over.
New insulation in the attic. And we made sure we created the 5/8 drywall on top of the old wall. Plastered it, brought up in 2-foot length pieces because it had to go through the attic access.
Yeah.
I'm really happy about what the guys did in the attic. I think, you know, it'll make a big difference for our heating bills in the winter.
Now, by buttering the outside, that's Alex, spray foaming, and that's the thermal break that I'm talking about. No longer is the attic of the front porch and your bedroom the cold zone. Now we've got the warm zone on the inside of the house, the cold zone where it's supposed to be. Thermal breaking is what we're looking for, separating that hot from heating cold and stopping that cold draft from coming in.
Probably Paul is more happy about it because his side of the bed is actually the side where the floor was really cold. So he's probably a little bit happier about it.
We're happy?
Yes, we're very happy. Thank you.
Absolute pleasure.
Very much.
Thank you.
No worries.
Thanks for
Enjoy.
everything, Damon.
Paul, nice to meet you. Nice people. It's good helping good people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We really
Keep
do.
smiling.
We will.